Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last event of Optimize 24. It's been our biggest virtual event ever here at Visible Thread. Thanks so much for those who have maybe attended other talks today. If this is your first one, welcome. If you've been here all day, I admire your stamina. So what are we talking about here today? We're going to finish things out with a roundtable discussion, my favorite event. We're going to get a lot of kind of thought leaders, industry experts talking, and I want to hear from the audience as well. So we're here today to talk about key considerations around artificial intelligence and how it intersects with proposal management, BD, and capture. So we have a lot to chew on, a lot to talk about today. I'll do my best to maintain order. Just one quick logistical note for those in the room, there is a Q&A kind of chat bot. Feel free to fill that up with questions. We'll get through as many as we can here at the end. Just to kick things off, I am joined by Steve Skeldon, a capture and proposal industry leader from Chickasaw Nation Industries. I'm also joined by Kartik Kutharapukes, forgive me if I mispronounce your last name. He's an international board of director from APMP. We have Sarah Miranda, who is a proposal and capture lead at Act One Federal, and then Aaron Green. And forgive me, Aaron, could you share your title with the group?
Yeah, I'm a capture lead at AWS.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Aaron. That was left off the notes. Let's dive in. So we are in excellent hands. Oh, and who the heck am I? I'm Kyle Peterson. I lead our customer success team here at Visible Thread. Excellent. So to get things started, I want to hear from the audience first. I like to start with a poll question, get the crowd engaged, hear from you guys. Have you personally used AI tools or technologies in your proposal or capture management processes? You can click right on the screen, guys. If you can see my mouse here, you can click right on yes, you can click right on no. That'll register. And once we get decent enough kind of answers, we'll take a look and then we'll get started. Thanks so much. One more plug for the Q&A box. There's also a chat box. I will monitor both. Kudos to Kartik. It's 1:30 in the morning for him. So AI has taken us into March. And he's on the Christmas card list. Okay, that's probably a good start. Let's see. I'm curious to see, right? Because we're hearing a lot about AI. Who's actually using it?
Oh.
I'm a little surprised by the 80% no, but I do understand kind of the inherent conservatism and we kind of a wait and see approach. I'm curious to hear the group's thoughts as well, but let's dive into the discussion. Thank you. So we'll hear from the group kind of right off the bat. When we hear AI, one, we're hearing a lot about it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of maybe skepticism around it, but we want to start positive. I'm going to start with Aaron Green, actually. When it comes to AI in your day-to-day work, what one thing makes you excited?
Probably that we're just barely scratching the surface of what's possible. The art of the possible is really exciting to me. The ability to say, is there a use case for this? Yeah, let's try to develop something or see if there's a product out there that matches that. And then leveraging technology to save hours or people or headaches is the exciting part for me.
Excellent. And then Kartik, kind of keep running with that football. What makes you excited about AI?
Yeah, I think AI has touched particularly the generative AI has touched almost every industry and every role in any company per se, right? For example, I feel what excites me most about the generative AI is like constantly upgrading ourselves or our brain software with new version every week or every month, more like a smartphone getting a latest update and not just installing the latest update, but learning new prompts and dealing with new use cases every now and then. And also coming to the RFP process, conducting an RFP for me is like preparing a meal, and we as bid and proposal managers are always like the master chefs, and I feel like we have the master, baton in the hand, and we have the right ingredients and the right mix of the preparation is always with us, and there are right now there are a lot of tools like LLMs, SLMs, and AI tools for us, but it's all depends on how well we want to prepare the meal, like whether we want a gourmet meal or fast food. That's what is more exciting.
Absolutely. The pace.
Obviously the year of, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. There might have been a breakup there, but no, great answer there. The pace is truly exciting. Sarah, keep going. What excites you?
Well, we are business winners. So I think part of that is at least for me, I feel like I can take on more opportunities. I've got more time in my day, and it helps me at least kind of break away from the tedious and get to really put my brain power into the personalization part of my job, which is exciting for me. And also, I mean, yes, we're business winners, but also we're humans, we're people. And so we want time to, invest our battery into passion projects and our friends and our family and different experiences in life too. So I think it's really helped me have a better work-life balance, but also, again, like I said, be able to take on more opportunities because we're trying to, grow our own professional progress, but also our companies as well.
Nailed it. We want to be bringing revenue into the business, but if we can also get some of that kind of precious non-work time back, that's a win-win. Excellent. Steve, take us home. What are you excited about? You're an excitable guy.
I'm really excited that this is going to make everything that we do faster and a little bit easier and allow us to do a little bit more volume, right? Like I'm in the Native American small business world, and it's a volume game for us. We do, obviously we qualify bids and we go after things that we're qualified for, but there's a lot of speed and volume involved in what we do. And AI is really critical in allowing us to just be better, faster. And honestly, since GPT-4 is free, cheaper. I think it's great. I love it. I'm excited about it. I just used it the last 2 days to create content for proposals. So.
Excellent. So I'll be going to you for some more stories here, but because you just kind of concluded that line of questioning well, Steve, we'll stick with you. Next question, a little more specific this time. When we're kind of thinking about artificial intelligence, AI, how are you ensuring that AI-driven decision-making aligns with the values and goals of your organization? That's kind of a big one, and you can attack that in any way you see fit. But yeah, aligning that, what are we going to do with AI, and how are we making sure that it aligns with who we are as an organization, what we believe in?
Sure. I'll actually flip that on its head. We're not having AI drive our decision-making. We're using AI to enable our decision-making. We are applying the same values that we have always applied to our work. Honesty, trustworthiness, all the standard corporate values that every company's got a various twist on. But we're using AI to make that. AI is not driving our work. We're using it as an enabler. That's really the baseline there.
Excellent. I think that's a great point. We're in control, not the other way around. Really good. I think that's a nice segue. I have a few more thoughts there, but I think that's a nice segue into our next question. Kartik, I'll start with you. Talk to us a little bit about some common misconceptions around AI related to proposal management. I feel like there's a lot out there. What are you seeing? Maybe just a few top of mind misconceptions around AI.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I may tell the small story, like in 2019, when me and Rick were actually talking a panel in BPC, the first ever panel on AI, probably in the APMP community, there was a lot of misconceptions and also not much acceptance in terms of the AI or any of particular automation in terms of proposal management. But fast forward now, I think all of us have been accepting these. A lot of us are actually trying to build the use cases, and I think the misconceptions are slowly fading away. But again, if I may say, the legacy proposal managers or bid and proposal managers who are actually used to the olden style of doing the bid and proposal management still have these misconceptions that, recently when I published an article called Robot Authors and the Thesis, which I actually spoke about in BPC last year. I got direct messages that, this article is a direct replacement of our bid and proposal managers, and I try to have a direct conversations to explain and also avoid all the misconceptions he had. And one of the things is this particularly, they have not reached a complete acceptance of what we are trying to do now. All we are saying is that it will not replace us. It is all about how we embrace it. It's all about the sentiment that we have, that we are actually doing a lot of, like Sarah mentioned, a lot of repeatable tasks that we are actually trying to replace and really empower us to do the magic behind and use our value to actually do a lot more better things than the repeatable tasks. And particularly when it comes to creating and analyzing the documents, this was not something which we had as a capability before the generative AI. So to create something unique, it would have taken a lot of number of hours to create some original content. And right now, if you actually have written a very good prompt, you have a lot of options to create creative content. And it all depends on how you embrace this generative AI. We have no choice. It's just that how fast we embrace this, each of us in different manners.
Nailed it. I actually like that in terms of, I think a lot of people think kind of AI is the magic, but to your point, AI kind of enables you to do what you do best. So really, really good thoughts there. Kartik, Sarah, I'm curious, I directed that proposal management question to Kartik. Why don't you, same question, where are we seeing some common misconceptions when it comes to AI, but maybe more kind of tip of the spear activity within the business development space or the BD lifecycle? What are you seeing that you'd want to clarify?
So I think first and foremost, I want to clarify this because this was like really big for me when I realized this. Because of course, everyone has heart palpitations when they hear like, oh my gosh, my job might be on the line. I don't know. So I think the first thing to realize is that right now, if you were to organize AI based on capabilities, there are like three main types. The first being artificial narrow intelligence, the second being general AI, and then the third being super AI. And as of right now, of the three that I mentioned, there's only one that actually exists that we're using today, and then two of them are just theoretical concepts for now. But we'll talk about that later. And so with the one that we have right now is artificial narrow intelligence, and it can be trained to perform a single narrow task, reading the definition here, but that's often far faster and better than a human mind, but it's targeting just a simple subset of the brain's capabilities. So it's not a human, it's not, some scary super thing. And I think that kind of put my heart at ease. And then it's not going to perform anything outside of the defined task that you give it, right? So it's not learning anything crazy, artificial intelligence, you think that it's, going to school and whatnot. And so I think one of the misconceptions that I've kind of run into is that, because our current AI can't use, previous learnings and skills to accomplish new tasks without, the need for human training. It also can't reason or make judgments and feel emotion and process, beliefs, desires, and have desires of its own. And so from that BD perspective, and honestly, a proposal like writer perspective too, I think putting yourself in the customer's shoes and relating to the customer, also known as empathy, is extremely important. And, I'm buying what you're selling because I can tell you understand my needs, right? So the only reason that you can understand what I need is because you've had your own needs and your own desires and understand what it's like to not have those needs and desires met. So I think, yes, AI can, again, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but like AI can do a lot of things, but it cannot take away that personal empathy when you're writing something or when you're communicating with a customer, an agency, agency, whoever you may be communicating with on the BD side.
Yeah, no, really good stuff there, Sarah. I think and you're getting a little philosophical, and I mean that as a deep compliment in terms of, empathy, desires. That is the key to selling, isn't it? And AI can't get us there yet. Not all AI is created equal. Excellent. Aaron, I actually I wanted to bring you in from a capture side. Anything to add there, just while we're on a roll in terms of misconceptions?
I think between Sarah and Karthik, I think I have similar kind of areas of misconceptions I've heard from team members and from my own team of, can this do what I'm doing? Is this going to take over my job? Is this, and all of those are unfounded when you dive into AI as it stands right now. And really it's about like, how much better do you want to be able to do the things that you actually care about? To Sarah's point, like, how much time would you actually spend on building relationships if you could, instead of doing data analysis? How much time would you actually spend on driving the right story that speaks to the heart of somebody? And that's the part that like gets over the hump for a lot of the capture side. A lot of capture is tabletop research. So a lot of our job can be AI driven, but to what Steve said, like, AI driven is not AI totality. It's helping you make your decisions, not making decisions for you.
Well said. So perfect. I think now for the audience, it's perfect timing for another poll. When we think about misconceptions, let's talk about concerns. I'm curious, what is the group hearing out there? So same idea as last time. What's your biggest concern when it comes to integrating AI into proposals, capture, BD? Pick your poison there. You can click right on the screen. I believe this is a pick one. I don't believe it's a pick all that apply.
Curious to click more than one. It's just the one.
Just the one.
I also just tried. Just, we're those types of people. It just
That's why you guys are on the panel. Excellent, excellent. We'll just give it maybe 10 more seconds. We see some answers flying in. I certainly have my own ideas and answers, but just like last time, curious to see where the group's at. All right, that's probably a pretty good start. Let's take a look. Yep, privacy, security, absolutely top of mind. Accuracy, of course. Interesting. A little less an impact on job roles. Okay, ethical considerations, good to know. We can throw ethics out the window. Do not quote me on that. So that's, oh shoot, how many people are in here? 100?
Is this being recorded?
Cool. Yeah, oh no. So it's a perfect segue into our next question. And I think, Steve, we'll start with you. What can we do to balance the benefits of AI while also acknowledging and honoring the need for human oversight? As we've been saying, it's not an all or nothing equation here. What's one thing someone could take back to their organization to balance this is really going to help us, but we're going to retain agency over the business winning process? What do you think there?
So I think it's like any tool, it's going to depend on the user, right? There's going to be people that will take it, put it into ChatGPT or whatever bot they choose to use, and dump it right into their proposal, and it'll go to the government. And it's going to be pretty obvious past a certain point that that's been done. There was a big thing on Twitter the last couple of days. There was some Willy Wonka festival in Scotland that was all done in AI with the marketing. People showed up and it was like a sad, empty warehouse with like a couple plastic lollipops. Those people relied on AI and didn't check their work. So don't do that. Don't end up with an empty warehouse and with plastic lollipops, right? End up with a starting point to build your content from. You want to make sure that you use this as a baseline and not as a final product. I like to think that it gives me about an 80% solution. What I used it for earlier, I asked one of my tech leads for an approach, and he says, pop it into ChatGPT. So I put it into our internal tool, and it gave me a baseline, and we revised it for about 5 minutes, and it was done, which made everything a lot easier. No one had to spend nearly the amount of time creating it from scratch, because it was mostly right when it came out. We just had to make sure that it was actually right. So that human review is the key for that oversight. That's to me, that's the balance.
Yeah, excellent. What are we promising? Good. Kartik, same question. What's one thing we can do to balance the benefits of AI with the need for that all-important human oversight?
One approach I think Kale and the team is that human in the loop or in strategy for everything that we do with the AI currently is actually this standard approach. Like we can actually define clear roles for what AI is going to do and what we as human oversight is supposed to do. Like what Steve said, we have to have a reviewing methodology for everything that is done, and we cannot just depend completely on it. Going back to my analogy of the master chef, AI is never gonna be our master chef. It's only gonna be an assistant chef in the kitchen, always gonna be helping us with recipes, maybe cutting off the tools and analyzing stuff. But we are the ones who decide on which is the recipe that is going in the plate of the customer, things like that. So it is very, very evident that it is having clear automation capabilities, clear analyzing capabilities, but nevertheless, it cannot make empathetic decisions or personalization clearly for whatever reasons we have to be in the winning side of the things. So human in the loop.
Absolutely. Aaron, take us home here. What can we do to balance AI automation while kind of keeping us in the loop?
Yeah, I think it's really building us as part of that loop. Like if you garbage in, garbage out, right? Like we're proposal professionals. We know that if you have a database full of garbage language and you use it to build your proposal, the proposal's still going to have garbage language. You have to build yourself or some review or yourself in the front end to be good at the end. So if you want to make sure that there's like a human interaction and human oversight into it, you have to build yourself into it. Taking AI at face value 100% of the time is only going to get you so far. Hallucinations, I know, is a big thing for everybody right now who is developing content and having the AI develop content that is fully incorrect. And having someone review that is probably critical for the next, I don't know, year, 2 years, 3 years, until AI can filter that out. So I think building human interaction through the entire process is critical.
Yeah, it's a great addition there. And so what I'm really hearing is it's governance, process, guardrails. And I'd love to hear from the audience in the chat. What have you seen done within maybe your own organizations or elsewhere? What are we doing to build in just some of these rules of the road to make sure that we're not promising children the world and traumatizing them for a few years or maybe their whole life? Good. So speaking of trauma and guardrails, next question, Sarah, why don't you kick us off here? What concerns regarding data privacy and security do you think of when you're considering implementing AI solutions within a kind of a BD team or environment?
Yeah, of course. So I think from a competitive perspective, there's that initial knee-jerk reaction of like, if I put my response in this database, or this boilerplate information into this like holding pool, and then I can pull from it. What if that gets released? What if that gets hacked by the competition, released to who knows, And again, it's not necessarily that is going to happen, but it's a valid concern. I've had the same one too. And I feel like, a bit further out for me, but from like an AI solution standpoint, what if, I were to propose a solution to the government and then it breaks, that gets hacked? Those are some concerns that, we're all kind of faced with right now. And I think as scary as this might be, to say, I think the best thing to keep in mind right now is we don't know what we don't know yet. And every company will want to implement and handle the security precautions differently. I'm a part of an organization called OSAC, and it's the Overseas Security Advisory Council. It's a program that's a part of the State Department, but within that, there's a Women in Security group, shout out if anybody's a part of that. That group frequently sends out, just members of the group will frequently send out different like requests for like security protocols. So it's like benchmarking, I guess you'd say, whether that be for cybersecurity, physical security, or otherwise. And so with all that being said, I suggest, at least for now, getting your organization's risk mitigation and security teams invested into an organization, like OSAC, or, because in OSAC, at least, and this is not me standing on the soapbox for OSAC, but just in organizations like that, or even in this chat box right now, because we've, asked, put out there what kind of guardrails you've put in place at your company, looking at that, you can pull from multiple different perspectives and case studies, the tried and true versus the, hey, this fell on its face, this process implementation is not it. So I think that's your best bet to quickly and efficiently decide what will work for your organization. And for proposal people, I also want to say this too, thinking about this, I encourage you to be a part of that discussion. So if you're the one bringing this to your higher management in your company, totally don't forget to pitch yourself as to why you should be a part of that conversation. And if you want to connect offline, obviously it's clear, I love talking. I'll talk till the cows come home. So let's talk offline on LinkedIn, and I can help you put together some bullet points of, some value props for yourself. I'm sure AI could do that for you too. So yeah, I'll leave you with that.
No, great thoughts there, Sarah. Kartik, I'm curious what you think. Same question. What concerns around data privacy, security are you thinking of, as APMP thinking of when an organization is considering implementing AI? And what do you want to add there?
I think, I think definitely there are data privacy and security concerns as we mature to implement such solutions right now as we progress in this year, to evaluate a lot of tools, right? Again, these security considerations are region specific as well. Like for example, in UAE, we have a security council and security advisory, which is applicable for any company that deals with data. In this country, and the data sovereignty is very strict policy here, and we cannot just implement any tool or anything that cannot be hosted outside the country. So these are some of the things also which come into the picture at a mature level of implementing any of these limbs or any particular tools at the moment. So definitely the InfoSec policies are supposed to be considered, and we have to make sure that all of us have different laws in different places. So as I think on behalf of APMP, there would be definitely some initiatives to help the members in this process. Like what Sarah said, there might be different policies in UK and US procurement as well. Recently, there was a lot of laws implemented.
It's excellent, and it really dovetails nicely with what Sarah was saying around, we want to get security involved, risk involved, trade compliance, legal. Where is our data living? Where is it going? Where can it be hosted? Where is our documentation going? So what I'm hearing is we need to ask the right questions before we kind of rush pell-mell into the thicket. And then finally, when we see those two major concerns, right? Privacy, security, then accuracy, it goes back to Aaron's point around data management. So provided we can put this into the system without fear that our competitors are going to steal it, do we know what's going to come out? So really, really good stuff. No easy answers. Great discussion. I think that's kind of a perfect segue into our next question for the audience. So when we think about proposals capture, I'm going to add in business development there. The full revenue generating business winning life cycle. Where does the audience think AI has the most potential to help? Maybe the fastest, the most efficacious. Curious, and I would also, of course, argue that this list wouldn't be exhaustive, but of these four, what's the audience thinking there? And you can click right on the screen. And this kind of takes us into our final round of questioning, believe it or not.
I feel like we need very serious music while we're doing this,
like the Jeopardy.
Maybe some or Deal or No Deal. The dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it would get like the lights Pare down? Okay. We'll talk to the marketing team. We need to bump up their budget a bit, I think.
Yeah.
So we have a clear kind of majority here in terms of content generation and customization. No surprises there. Data analysis, that's a bit surprising. Document organization, yeah, I'd agree. I don't know. That kind of goes back to the governance. What are we putting in? Excellent. Really, and by the way, audience, thank you for participating. This helps us, hopefully, as much as it helps you to kind of hear from your peers. Okay, so that'll take us into kind of some forward-looking questions now. Steve, this is directed to you. In what ways do you foresee artificial intelligence evolving in the field of capture proposal management in the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, you could go the next 1,000, but we'll say kind of the next decade. What are you seeing?
So, I mean, it's what I see is exciting. As all four of us here are members of the APMP board, we're kind of a front row seat as far as how the industry is going to evolve, and the ability that we have to impact the programming and the direction of the organization is exciting for our members. Where I see it going, and I'm the one that clicked data analysis, because what I want to do with generative AI is I want to use it not to create content generation tools, because I like our content and I think that we can tailor that pretty well. What I have a hard time doing, because I am a single human being with one brain, is looking at the entire universe of all of our contracts, thousands of contracts, and looking at the entire universe of every federal opportunity that might be tangentially related to what we do, and picking out the best ones. So I want to take it and put it into a giant matrix and have it just be this heat map of where our hotspots are, what the cool stuff that we can do that we may not even know about. Like, what is CISA doing that we could really impact the cybersecurity posture of the country? Or what is the EU doing? Like, we could look at international markets. It's boundless and it's super exciting. Like I said earlier, this is a supercharging tool. It's going to make us faster and better. And the way that it does that, it's going to do that for me from a capture perspective, is help me identify really good opportunities that I would have never seen otherwise. There's all kinds of ranking. If you go on GovWin, there's the score. I work for a company with 17 LLCs, and it says our score on our incumbent work is like 20 out of 100. It's obviously not working. So there's all kinds of algorithms out there. Getting the right one to do what you want it to do, it takes a lot of tuning and programming. But I think the way that generative AI works is much more aligned to doing that natively than trying to design an algorithm with a bunch of factors, because it can figure out the factors. So that's excellent. That's what I'm excited about. Yeah.
Yeah, astute as always there, Steve. Aaron, I'm curious, feel free to jump in. Anything to add there from the, not necessarily just capture, but from the capture perspective, what else are you seeing? Maybe just to add on to what Steve just said.
I also clicked data analysis and insight, but I am also really intrigued at having AI bridge the gap, and LLMs generally bridge the gap between that tried and true problem of subject matter expertise not translating to the content creators. What if AI could look at a systems diagram and write a baseline for somebody who doesn't understand what a systems diagram is supposed to look like? Turns out it can't. What if we could have that bridge be built for us to shave years off of our tired faces from trying to have that subject matter expert translate? There's also like a larger implication for having that translation be much smoother, and that is that if we save our time and we save our our hours and our brain power, we also save subject matter experts from accidentally being sucked into the proposal industry because they know how to write. Let them be subject matter experts in what we're trying to offer to our customers, to our programs, to the governments that we're trying to offer, and let them live there. We can have that translation happen in a more streamlined way. We don't have to have people accidentally sucked into proposal management or proposal content creation, and we can have people who are actually impassioned by this topic continue doing that path.
But Aaron, how will we get new proposal managers if we don't pay them like these?
Oh, let me tell you. No.
Yeah, once you get kind of sucked in, it's hard to escape, isn't it?
I know.
It's a great point. We ask a lot of our SMEs, we ask a lot of our proposal managers, and I like that kind of idea of a bridge there, Aaron. And just one, I can't help myself. I have to jump in terms of kind of maybe to Steve's point around, I'm happy with my content. I don't know if I want help there. I also answered data analysis. My concern around it is from a content generation, from a tonal perspective, kind of this homogenation of tone kind of threatens me as a proud liberal arts major. But I'll stop shouting at the clouds. But it's a good. I like that, Steve. That was well put. Excellent. Okay, so let's see. We're kind of getting into the tail end here. So just as I get into the last couple of questions here, definitely want to encourage that audience, use that Q&A box. You've got some bright minds here. Let's challenge them, put them to the test. So jumping ahead, Sarah, when we're thinking about, whether it's content generation, whether it's data analysis, how do you approach kind of training and upskilling your team to effectively utilize AI tools, specifically within BD? Because we can have all the tools in the world, but if we don't know how to effectively utilize them, who cares? How would you attack that challenge?
No, absolutely. So I think just selfishly, I'll say that we BDers and capture people too. Again, we like to win, but we also like to grow as people and grow our businesses. So I think that playing on the part of, hey, if you learn how to use these tools more efficiently, then therefore not only will your company grow, but you will grow. So I think that that's one point to make. But also, I'll say, I live in a world where I do part capture, part BD, and for capture, I'm the only capture person at this company. So I don't have a team, it's just me. But then as far as business development, I have a group of colleagues. We're all equals, and we work and we share information among one another. And so I guess kind of if I had to list out things that I were to do, one would be what you're doing here today. All of you audience members, congratulations. You are attending conferences, you are at roundtables, you are growing your mind and learning and hearing other people's perspectives, their tips, their tricks on how they use this tool to make their life easier. So I think that that's fantastic. Two, I'd say read articles. My mama, she told me to read. Took me a while, but we're finally here. I'm finally on board with the reading thing. And so I read articles, subscribe to email letters so they'll hit your inbox, get a cup of coffee, and check that right off the top. Take 15 minutes, 9 to 9:15. Read and learn more about AI, what the capabilities are, so that you can bring that back to your team at large or your colleagues in my instance. I'd say also, and I guess the last thing I'll stand up and say would be to practice. So practice makes perfect. When we get really good at prompting, it's like asking the right question. So asking the right question from people, if you're in BD, is really important, right? So wouldn't you say that asking the right question of a tool is just as important to get what you're looking for? Even when you're asking a question to the government, we all know that from a proposal standpoint, we frame questions to, I don't think it's a secret. We'll frame questions to get a specific answer or try and shape the proposal further by the way that we ask the question. So if we are training ourselves to do that, to speak with other people in the art of conversation, not many people are born natural artists. We all have to practice. So I'd say, learning how to prompt better, get in some courses if you need to, but practice makes perfect.
Yeah,
practice makes better, not perfect, but no one's perfect. So practice makes better.
That's it. I immediately went to prompting. Chatbots are great. If we're not prompting it well, that impacts your output. Excellent. So, we talked about training, upskilling the team to effectively utilize AI tools. Kartik, why don't you close us out here in terms of lessons learned or challenges you've seen surrounding the implementation of artificial intelligence tools within the proposal management space. It's kind of a two-headed beast, isn't it? What have you seen? What should we watch out for when we're just trying to get these tools in place to use, hopefully effectively?
Yeah, I think as I reiterated in some of my earlier responses, one size doesn't fit all the teams, right, and all the companies. So focus on specific tasks. One of the important things is, like, some of the companies might have some very basic tools like SharePoint or CRM embedded in their company's workflow, or not already in the tool set. So try to leverage them, focus on specific tasks to improve and implement the automation and AI and generative AI. Actually, real, magic wand or something of that sort. Try to see where there are no biases, have clear communication with your management, and try to see what is the best use case for you to implement. One of the important things also is to actually consider the cost of implementation of these tools. But again, some of the companies might not require really implementing everything in the first place itself. Depending on the team size and the content you are actually generating, number of proposals you are churning out. It's also important to create a big, and also content clarity is quality, and the clarity is also important. When you are actually implementing a tool, at a point you are in a situation where your content library needs to be automated, even for the sake of LLM. The data quality is very, very important. Avoid hallucinations. Be clear about what you are actually getting out of the AI tools. These are some of the challenges definitely for us. And above all, like we all have seen, there is a lot of acceptance that issues right now based on the poll today. So ethical and security considerations are always there, but we are getting there to solve all these slowly and steadily.
It's a great call out in terms of really any tool, whether it's AI. I mean, my team is buying customer success software, and you nailed it. What use cases are we going to use the software on? It can't do everything. So really being thoughtful and prioritizing what we're going to use this solution or tool to accomplish, and then what are those thresholds when it comes to content clarity and quality. We want to have those answers, or the answers to those questions, before we dive in. Really excellent. Okay, I think last question for the group, and then we'll kind of round out our remarks. There's one more question here. We started positive, we'll end positive, especially late in the day. What's the group optimistic about for the future role that AI plays when we're going out there winning business, driving revenue into the business? Or excuse me, how optimistic? Forgive me. So you can be pessimistic if you'd like. I'll say somewhat.
I feel like I'm a toxic optimist sometimes, so I gotta tone it down.
I need you to, be a little more negative there, Sarah.
You guys are buying you a shirt that says that.
Toxic optimist.
I am going to steal that, Sarah. That's pretty good.
Did you get that one from AI, or was that from the brain?
I never share my secrets. Not until they start asking.
You'll never know.
So we're feeling pretty optimistic. No pessimists. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think of the opposite of a toxic optimist. Would it be a practical pessimist? Anyways, that's my attempt at comedy here late in the day. All right. Last question for all of us. If there's just one thing, maybe I'm looking at Steve. So Steve, kick us off. If there's one thing you'd suggest for the audience to do next regarding artificial intelligence within this kind of business winning space, what do you think it would be?
Sure. Everybody here has touched on a lot of really important things between training and learning and knowledge and being the human in the loop and making sure that you bring in your data security people. I think I can sum it up, and I'll just quote Ted Lasso because it's a great show. Be curious, not judgmental.
I'm writing that down. That's why I'm uncharacteristically silent.
You should watch that show if you've not seen it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
So, Kartik, maybe same question to you. One thing the audience should consider or do next regarding AI in our industry. What should it be?
Yeah, I think, as I said in the first place, I think it's a continuous process of improvement. It's agile at the moment. It's very fast, as we heard from Fergal in one of the sessions as well. I think at every second and every minute and every day there are a lot of LLMs and SLMs. Don't get overwhelmed. Try to continue learning, keep on the pace, and invest in learning the new skills, which is prompt engineering, which I think all of us in one day or the other will end up creating use cases in bid and proposal management. There will be a bid and proposal use cases library like what you have in a proposal library very soon for every company and every team. There will be prompt library which we can reuse, and I think a lot of us already started doing that. So I think that's the way forward, and I always feel and optimistic from a couple of years now, starting my journey from IBM till now. I'm sure everyone will agree that it is going to be a trusted advisor, trusted partner for us with the fading of all the misconceptions we had over the past few years.
Great call out. I think we had a session today, VT Writer, we're starting to talk about prompt libraries. There's other options out there, but kind of around visible thread, we're thinking about it. It's a great call out, Kartik, and we didn't even plan it. Aaron, one thing we should do next. What do you think?
Yeah, everybody's touched on the big ones, but I think don't be afraid to try. Get your hands a little bit dirty and just kind of see what's out there. AI and what it's going to do and how it's going to help you only works if you kind of understand what it's going to do and how it's going to help you. So if you haven't seen it in action, or you haven't seen something that is using it, or you don't think you have, you probably have, it's everywhere. But if you don't think you have, get your hands dirty. Try a free model, try something online, try to see what you can do, try to see what you can't do. It's really worth the dive.
Excellent. Sarah, take us home.
Phone now for ChatGPT, so you can just download it and play.
Yeah. If you're on the subway or the metro, wherever you're at, the tube, I don't know. But yeah, I'll take us home. So I had mentioned a lot about training and reading and all of that jazz, but I think also I'm a big proponent of a tactical and tangible takeaway. So I guess one thing that I do that has saved me time is helping shape win themes with AI. So, if you can throw in either a draft RFP or something of that nature, throw a draft RFP in and isolate your client's challenges by prompting correctly, mind you, but isolate your client's challenges and their pain points and whatnot. That can give you a really great starting point. Now, I mean, again, it shouldn't be necessarily your starting point if we're already at the draft phase. However, I will say that this is something that, again, bringing it back to, it's a partnership. It's an AI and human partnership. And so, yes, isolating those pain points are great in D&D and whatnot. However, on the flip side, at BD side of things, like you want to confirm those. Again, hallucinations happen all the time. That's just the reality of where we're at right now. And so we as humans can go and get tangible information from, agency, our clients, whoever it needs to be. So I think, isolating those and then confirming them and or adding and collecting color for those.
That's a really interesting, specific example there, Sarah. I like that a lot. Kind of getting started on those win themes, or at least starting to kind of iterate on those. I'd be shocked if there weren't questions about that. Audience, hint, hint. But yes, Sarah, you're proving yourself to be a tactical, tangible, toxic optimist. So excellent ending. So believe it or not, I'm not seeing any questions. Maybe it's late in the day. That'd be a first for a Kyle Peterson-led discussion. I'm just going to pause for 30 seconds, a couple closing notes for the audience. First of all, thank you so much to our speakers. Really good discussion. I could keep talking with you guys for another 2 hours. We won't do that. To the audience, thank you for your time. You'll receive recordings. You'll receive slides. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of collateral to take back to your organizations. You will see a survey. If you have the time and the wherewithal, please do share your feedback, good, bad, or otherwise. We want to make sure that these events are actionable, relevant, compelling, insightful, pick your favorite adjective. And so your feedback really helps us do that. So thank you. And last call. Okay, I will let the group go. Thanks again. And yeah, go get them out there.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Happy to continue the conversation if y'all are interested. Just like Sarah said, love talking about it, love getting excited about it.
Yeah.
So.
Lord knows I'm not shy.
Yeah, we're all very passionate about it. Happy to talk.
You're all invited back.
Yay.